What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. I'm super pumped. We've got a very cool guest joining us today. He is a three-time #1 international best-selling author. He is also an award-winning global speaker, and for over 30 years has been training and mentoring executives, thought leaders, and professional speakers from around the world. Please welcome Steve Lowell from Ottawa, Canada. Steve, thank you for joining us today. I'm super excited for this conversation.
Yeah, me too. I know you and I've had a chance to chat before we pressed record, and I'm excited to get to know you a little better, and I think we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are actually mentor thought leaders and keynote speakers that are, probably in the higher level. So you've shared the stage with Jack Canfield. So you always been in the speaking type of arena, or is that something that you grew to?
Well, kind of both. So I started on the live stage at the age of 6, and I was a little guitar player, with big thick glasses, and I could barely reach over my guitar, and I was pretty good. So I was playing my guitar. But then over the years, as I was playing in front of more and more people, I became a little bit of a showman. I like to tell stories and all those things. And so, I've been speaking on stage since the age of 6, and I won't tell you how old I am now, but it's well over 50 years. So it's been a long time.
You look good.
Thanks. Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I went into that. So I played music professionally until my early 20s. And then, what happened at the end is I came across a video just by accident of a guy named Zig Ziglar. And I watched that video, and it changed my life. And I said, I can't believe that this guy can do that. I mean, he's got no equipment. He's got no band members that are doing drugs. He's got, he just walks on, he speaks, and he walks off, and he makes money. So I like that job. So, so I started to pursue that.
Yeah, no kidding. I would like that job too. So what, when you start working with someone, well, I guess maybe let's back up. And so as you started speaking, and then when did you start your business, your consulting, your mentoring, what you're doing now? When did that start?
Right. So when I was in my early 20s, and after I saw that Zig Ziglar video, I had it in my mind that I wanted to learn to be a professional speaker, because I was very comfortable on the stage, and I was good on the stage with working the room, working the audiences. But then I was very intrigued by this professional speaking thing. But my issue was I really had nothing to say, and so I took a course with a big audience, or with a big company, and I decided I'm going to learn how they do it, because that's what they do. Yeah. And I eventually became an instructor with that company. And it was one of the biggest companies, training companies in the world at the time. And when I became an instructor over a period of 4 or 5 years, something like that, I had this thing in the back of my mind that kept saying, I understand what they're doing. I just don't believe in what they're doing. And I was teaching all of these things the way they taught me to teach them. But in the back of my mind, I just knew that this isn't quite right. I didn't know why it wasn't right, but I knew it wasn't right. So when it came time for me to actually sign the contract to be an instructor with this company, I just couldn't in good conscience do it, because I knew that I'd have to teach things that I didn't really believe in. So I thought, I'm just going to do it on my own and see what happens, and just use whatever comes to me. But what I found during that time was I have a gift that I never knew that I had. And it's this: I can take somebody who has a message but is very uncomfortable, or doesn't know how to speak it, doesn't know how to share it. I can put them in front of an audience, and within minutes, I can pull magic out of them that they never knew existed. And I didn't know I could do that. And so once I learned that I could do that, then I started to develop that skill. So I started to do little public speaking courses, for people who someday might like to get on a stage and speak. And I started to do that to hone my craft and to really figure out what I was going to teach them. And then over the years, I guess I was about 30, maybe somewhere between 25 and 30, pardon me, where I launched my own real business and started teaching people who were actually speakers.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of got better from there over the years.
Yeah. I mean, you've shared the stage with some big names such as Jack Canfield and Brian Tracy. And Kevin Harrington. What was that like?
Well, what do you think it was like? It was great.
There had to be such an adrenaline rush from that.
Oh, well, it was great. So what happened was I spoke at an event. I don't remember when it was. It was 2017, maybe 2018, something like that. And I spoke at an event, and Jack was speaking there. And when I was speaking, he was in the very front row, and so I did my thing, and then after I spoke was lunchtime, and I, because I was one of the speakers, we all go into this room, and it was like, lunch for the speakers. And I walk up to the table with Jack, and I had met him beforehand, the photo op, shake the hand kind of thing. I walked up to the table, and Jack, as I was approaching the table, Jack said, Steve, he said, that was a master class. And I said, Jack, stop. And I said, if I pull out my phone, would you say that again? And he said, yes. So I pulled out my phone, and he went on, and he gave me this raging testimonial. And that was great. And so afterwards, after he did that, I sat down at the table, and I was talking to him, and I said, Jack, well, how can I serve you? And so we talked about that a little bit, and we became, I wouldn't say we're buddies, but we're in contact and all those things. And then that gig led to meeting Brian Tracy. And my wife Jane and I went down and hung out with Brian and his wife at his house in San Diego for a while, and we've spoken together many times on many events, and he's become a very, very close friend. And that relationship also led to meeting Kevin Harrington, because Kevin was one of the speakers at one of the events, and Kevin and I hit it off, and so he's spoken at our events, and he's a buddy now too. So this is the way the industry works, right? If you and my wife is so good, Jane is so good at building relationships. And so we build these relationships, and of course you meet other people, and the network grows, and we just stay in contact with them, and we turn them into friends. And now we've got this great network of amazing friends.
Yeah. Wow. You gave me goosebumps with that story. Just like you found your path and you followed it, and you didn't hesitate, and you just went for it. And I feel like that's what my podcast is all about, is people like taking those labels off and actually pursuing their passion, and to live a life that's, dynamic and purposeful and all that good stuff. Is it hard for someone, you say you have a gift of helping people get their message out there. Once someone is able to do that, you've helped them craft that message. Is it hard for someone to get speaking engagements?
Well, yeah, for some, yes. In fact, I'd say for most people, yes, it is, because it's a big answer. So I'll try and condense it. The speaking business is a massive world, and there's lots of different opportunities, lots of different paths that one can take in the speaker business. And the most common path that people tend to take is the getting paid to speak path. In their mind, they say, I want to go and do keynote addresses, and I want to do that and get paid and get a fee. That is a really difficult world to get into. It can be done, but it's a whole lot easier to get in if you've got some celebrity status, if you've got, if you're already known in the field, that can be done. There's this other entirely massive world where the real money is in speaking. And what makes it difficult for people is that they think because they have a speech now, they can go out and make money. But there's a whole different skill set around that's required in order to go out there and not only be a great speaker and influence and entertain and inspire your audience, but also turn it into revenue.
Hey Dad, how you been? What's going on?
Well, not too much. Spring cleaning time.
Well, did you weed whack? Did you get the carpets clean? Because I know Mom's all about that, so I want to make sure we're ready to go.
Well, yeah. I got the gutters clean. That's about it.
That's it? Well, when I said weed whack and all that in the carpet, I kind of meant like the Manscaped 4.0. It's a little more personal.
I understand, yeah.
Works awesome.
Have you tried this?
I have tried it, and it works wonders. It really does, yeah.
Okay. This is pretty cool. And see, it comes with an LED light, and I understand it's waterproof.
It is waterproof. It works well. I tried it. It's a good product. It's a great product. I've tried other ones, and they're just so noisy, and they don't cut very well.
Wow, that's really good, Mike. Where do we get this?
Well, you can get it at manscaped.com, and while you're at manscaped.com, you know that we got a code, so we get it cheaper.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of a discount can we get?
We can get it at label-free 20, and it gives you 20% off the product, and it gives us free shipping. And I've tried some of the other products there because they got these all-new premier products. Like this here, it's a deodorant.
Now, is it for underarm or other places, or
I tried, but it's for the underarm.
Okay.
That's where it's at. And you can also get it at manscaped.com. Same code. We're using the code again. Label free 20. Label
We
free
get
20.
20% off and free shipping.
Free
as
shipping.
well.
I mean, how can you go wrong with that, right?
Wonderful.
So I like the idea and what you shared of being able to monetize your message. Like if I was going to become a keynote speaker, which, that is on my bucket list to do, I'm definitely not in the level that you're at. Obviously, I'd want to, get paid for the message that I've put together and that I'm putting out there into the world, because that's kind of a big deal. I know you're very costly to work with one-on-one, which is amazing. But you also were telling me about another program that you have for individuals that might not be able to fully afford that one-on-one coaching and mentorship from you. So can you tell the audience what that is?
Yeah, so we started a membership program. It's called the High Impact Speakers Studio. And in there, it's a membership program. And in there is a lot of my best stuff. There's workbooks and there's templates and there's e-courses and there's interviews and there's hot seats and there's all kinds of great stuff already in there. And we've just launched this membership. And we're going to be very, very active in that membership. So we do 4 live things a month. So we do a live Q&A for the members. We do a live hot seat. We do a live expert interview. So we do all of these things because we have so many people in our orbit who like what I do, because most of my stuff is proprietary. Most of the stuff I teach you can't find anywhere else on the planet. And they want to stay involved in that. But my, as you said, my one-on-one fees are quite high. So we created this for people who just want to stay in the orbit and who want to pick up on all my best stuff and apply it kind of on their own. But what we decided to do was not make it a really passive membership site. We want to make it very active. So I'm actively involved in there. Now, they don't get any access to me one-on-one, but they get access to me 4 times a month in doing a live event. So they can ask questions, they can engage. We even invite our members to apply to be a hot seat where they come on. We do laser coaching. They can nominate speakers. They can nominate themselves. We have a member of the month. So it's very, very active, and it's very, very high value. So they can find that, if they just go to my website, stevelowell.com, and they'll see a link at the top that says membership, and they can find out all the details there.
I love that. And I'll put that link in the show notes, you guys. But I have a question. So for someone, let's say, okay, I'm ready to pull that trigger and, I want to start this journey of becoming a keynote speaker. What are some good things that that I could do that sets me apart, that would set me up for success moving into this space?
Good. I love that question. And so these are them. Number 1 is don't hit any platform, live stage, virtual stage. Don't do that before you're ready. Now, that is the exact opposite of what most speaker coaches will tell you. Most speaker coaches will tell you, just get on a stage and start and learn your craft and let it come. And that's not invalid advice, but if you're somebody who wants to monetize, it is the wrong advice. Yeah. You need to understand exactly what's important when you get on either a virtual platform like this or a real life platform, which, as you know, are back in style now, and they're coming back in a massive way. So some of the things you need to know to prepare are these things. Number 1 is there's certain skill sets that you absolutely must develop that were more tolerated before COVID, but are not tolerated now. You need to know how to do more than just speak and use PowerPoint slides. If you're a talking head with PowerPoint slides, that'll kill you. That will be a label that will be attached to you that's really difficult to shed. So there are certain skills you need to learn. You need to know how to get past an audience's intellect and into their imagination using your presence and using your words. So that's mission critical. Number 2 is you need to have what I call structure, which means so many people get on and they say, you know what, I know my stuff so well, I'm just going to wing it. Well, the secret that so many people don't know is even the top speakers in the entire world don't wing it. They know their stuff so well that they know exactly how to present it to that audience, and they can adjust on the fly, not because they're winging it, but because they know what they're doing. Right. So what I tell speakers is you need to go through your content until your content comes through you. You need to know it that well. It's kind of like this, if you were, up here in Canada, our big game is hockey, right? And they pay these hockey players millions and millions of dollars. And do you think that before the game, the coach says, hey guys, just go out and wing it. Okay. Just go out and do whatever comes naturally. No, they practice every single move, right? And speakers need to be the same if your intention is to modify. So structure is one. This is the other one, though, Deanna. This is the big one that so many people miss, and I call it substance. And it's this. If you're taking the platform or the stage and what you're carrying with you is wisdom and knowledge that everybody else is sharing. If you tell me something and I've heard that a million times from a million different people, then you're positioning yourself as one of those. And that's a label that you will have, and it's a label that'll be difficult to shed. So here's what you need. You need to go through your content and find those nuggets of wisdom that you can take ownership of. And here's the objective. The objective is to get your audience to do this. You need the audience to go, huh, I've never thought of it like that before.
Yeah.
Now what happens is your name gets attached to that change in paradigm. So you need to rattle their beliefs, change their paradigms, reset their expectations, reset their their perspective on their condition. And so that piece of substance is critically important, right? And then the next thing that you need to have is you need to have a sales process. You need to know how to walk the audience through a journey that brings them to a decision. And sometimes the decision is just to book an appointment. Sometimes the decision is to download a free item, but sometimes the decision is to take out their credit card and buy something. And you need to know what the appropriate offer is and how to execute it. So those are the things that I believe need to be developed before you hit the platform.
Yeah. Wow. Those are some really good key things to learn. Now I'm feeling even more overwhelmed. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, I know a guy, right?
You know a guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a guy. Go to Ma's house. Well, I think that was some really great advice. Thank you for that. You know, as someone that is considering, well, that's on my bucket list. I'm going to do it. I've told myself I would do it. I'm a little overwhelmed by creating, me personally, and I'm sure anybody out there that's listening, if you're a speaker, wannabe speaker, whatever, I'm a little overwhelmed with creating the content. Like in my mind, I have an idea of what I'd want to share, but it's like really putting it down on paper and making sure that it's the length that it needs to be to keep the audience engaged the whole time.
Yeah, and that's I call it the signature talk, and that's my big program now. The big one-on-one thing is called the 2-day signature talk experience, and that's what we do is in 2 solid days. We craft the whole thing. Now, that doesn't mean we script it, because I don't want speakers to script their talk. And that's for 99% of speakers, that's a big mistake. Yeah. But what we do in that 2 days is we show you how to craft it. We put it together and we show you, what are the stories we pull out of you? What are the stories you're going to use? What style? What is your speaking style? We find that. What is that piece of wisdom that only you can claim ownership of? We find that, and we put the whole thing in using a specific structure. But it's a very intense 2 days, and that's one of the high-end pieces.
Yeah.
But that signature talk, Dan, is really, really important. It's really important thing, because that, if it's well crafted and if it's got this, the structure, if you got the skill, if you've got the style, if you got the sales, if you got the substance, if you got all that, then you're going to make money. And what happens is when, in this world now, the way the speaking business is, the best way to get asked back to speak again or to get referred to another stage is to make them money. If you can make them money, if you can bring them people and make them money, you will never be without business in the speaking world.
Yeah. Wow. Boom.
Boom.
Mic drop.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. People aren't going to hire you because you're good. Speaker bureaus and see, there's the whole corporate track, which is a little bit different, but that's not where the money is. The money's in the public events track, and there's millions of dollars in the public events track. And that's only about 2 things: put bums in my seats, put money in my bank account. You can do that. You'll be on my stage all day, every day.
Do you think, and we're going to start wrapping things up here because I know you're extremely busy and we're getting close on time. Do you think that that it's important to stay more motivational and inspirational with when you're speaking, and especially with the public event? I would never personally, I wouldn't do corporate, but I know there's a lot of people out there that's a great niche for them and a great audience for them. But for me personally, I would be more focused on the inspiration, motivational side of things.
Right. So motivational, inspirational side of things, it's kind of like this. They've merged now. It used to be where, you're a motivational speaker, you're an inspirational speaker, you're an informational speaker, you're an educational speaker, you're an entertaining speaker. The reality now is you need all of it. You need to know how to inspire. You need to know how to entertain. You need to know how to educate. You need to know how to motivate. You need to know how to sell. You need all of that, because people are no longer real, there's the market for motivational speakers is going like this. It's shrinking. It's almost gone because, and not only that, but you've got maybe max 20 minutes, just like we do here today. You got 20 minutes to get this message out. You got to get their attention. You got to motivate them. You got to inspire them. You got to change the way they think. You got to rattle their paradigms. You got to get them to buy something, and you got to teach them something. You got to do all of that in 20 minutes. If you can't do all of that in 20 minutes, then really what you are is just another speaker.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's huge. All right. Food for thought. Steve, can you please plug all your links again for the audience?
Yeah, the one link is everything is there, stevelowell.com. That's STEVELOWELL.com. Everything is up there. There's some free webinars there for you. The membership information is up there for you. We've got a really cool 5-day challenge coming up. That's not there yet, but it will be there. So that's going to be your central location for everything is stevelowell.com.
All right, awesome. You guys, I'm going to put that link in the show notes. So don't hesitate to go reach out if you're interested in being a speaker, interested in polishing your speaking skills and all that good stuff. Go hit the link. So before we say goodbye, what are some last words of wisdom and advice you'd like to leave with the audience?
So I think it's this, if you're thinking about getting on the platform or if you're already a speaker, consider this. Speaking is not about a transfer of information. Mm-hmm. Speaking is about a transfer of emotion. And your objective is this. You want to get the audience to feel about your message the way you feel about your message. And now you have communication. So start with that.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. You gave me like the chills again. Well, Steve, it's been an awesome conversation. I could probably talk to you for a while, but that's what you do. So I want to listen. So thank you so much for sharing what you do. And it's just awesome to hear your success, and you just followed your path and your passion, and look what you made it today. It's just amazing. I love it.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me, and congratulations to you on the enormity of your success. You're doing amazing things. You're changing the world. Just stay on it.
Fingers crossed. Thank you for that. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.